Hey everybody, looks like we have a final coming up in these worksheets 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think this is worksheet number 4. Sorry about that, I forgot to change that. These worksheets 1, 2, 3, and 4 are the types of questions you will see on your final. Let's get started here. Okay, so it says for these ones, write the equations of each line in point slope form, which is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Okay, so m is our slope. They give us that right there. And then that should be x sub 1. Golly, that should be x sub 1. So many mistakes already. Okay, anyway, so it's going to say x sub 2 in the other ones, but it should say x sub 1. Okay, so here is x sub 1, y sub 1 right here. Okay, so we're going to do the slope goes right here, and then this y point goes right here, and this x point goes right here. Okay, so that's what we'll do. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So there it is right there. Okay, so we don't need the -1 right there, you guys, because because it's just -1. So right here is -1. Sorry, I'm preoccupied with that x sub 2 up there. If you guys can just be okay with that, this should be x sub 1 right there. I won't be preoccupied with it anymore. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and keep going. Here we go. So this one we got to find the slope. Okay. So we can use either one of these points. It doesn't matter. So well, we got to use both of them to get the slope right here. So we're going to do y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And then we can use this x1, y1 or this x1, y1. Doesn't matter which one is x1, y1. Anyway, so here's our slope. Our slope is -2, so either point you can plug in right there, okay? Either one. Let me show you. So we know the slope is -2. We did this y minus this y, so -4 minus 8 is -12. And then 4 minus a -2 is 4 plus 2, which is 6. So -12 over 6 is -2. And then so here's the slope, -2, -2. And then so we did this point, y minus 8 equals the slope -2 times x minus a -2, which is x plus 2. Or we can do this point, y minus a -4, which is x, or y plus 4 equals the slope times x minus this x value right there, okay? All right. Okay, so this one, they give us, again, the slope right here and the point right here, okay? So everything's given to us right here, so I can just plug in y minus this slope, I'm sorry, y minus -2, so y minus a -2 is y plus 2 equals the slope times x minus the x sub 1. Okay, so same thing. Okay, the other one we got to get the slope. So here's the slope. So if we did the slope, we do the second y minus the first y, which is -4, and then 2 minus 4 is -2. -4 over -2 is 2, and negative divided by a negative is a positive right there. Okay, and then we can just do either one. So we can do y minus 8 equals 2 times x minus 4, or we can do y minus 4 equals 2 times x minus 2. There's infinitely many correct answers because a line has infinitely many points on it. That's why there's so many correct answers. There's only one correct answer for slope-intercept or standard form. We'll do some more of those in just a bit right there. Okay, so this one, for this one says, write the equation of each line in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, okay? All right, so there's a couple of ways we can do this. We can do the last lesson or the last bit of slides and put it in point-slope form, or we can just start off in slope-intercept form. I don't know what I did on this one. What did I do? Oh, I put it in slope-intercept form right off the bat. Okay, so they told us that the slope is 4, so we know y equals 4x plus b. To get b, we just substitute in 3 for x and then 6 for y right there, and then just solve for b. Okay, so when we do that, we get b equals -6, so our answer is y equals 4x minus 6. Okay, let's do that with this one. We got to get the slope. Okay, so 4 minus 0 is 4, 9 minus 5 is 4, so 4 over 4 is 1. So y equals 1x plus b, and then we can substitute in either point. So I like to substitute in the one with the 0. It's just easier to do. Okay, 0 equals 1 times 5, which is your x. We could have done 4 equals 1 times 9. We still will get the same b no matter what. So we get b equals -5. So our answer is y equals 1x minus 5, or just x minus 5. Okay. Remember, it's a multiple choice final, so it's called match the answer game. Alright, so here you guys, alright, so this one here you guys, they give us the slope, and whenever it's 0 comma a number, 0 comma a number is always our b. So our b is -8, there's our m right there, so y equals mx plus b, so y equals 1/4 x minus 8. Okay, now here you guys, here's the y-intercept, so this is 0, 7, the x-intercept is -3, 0, so let's get the slope, and we already know what b is right there. So the slope is, we just subtract the y, so it doesn't matter which one you call y1 or y2. I chose this one, so this y minus this y over this x minus this x, that's what this is. 0 minus a minus 3 is 0 plus 3, or 7/3. Okay, remember, b is 7, so it's y equals 7/3 x plus 7. Okay, that's probably the fastest way. There's other correct ways to get this. All right, so here, they want us to put it in standard form. Standard form is ax plus by equals c, and there's no fractions for a, b, and c, or no decimals for a, b, and c, so we just got to get rid of them. So there's all kinds of ways to do these ones. I'm choosing this way. Most teachers don't choose this way, but to me it's just the easiest way. If we know it's in standard form, then our slope is opposite this number over this number, -a over b. So if the slope is 3, or 3 over 1, then we just let 3 over 1 represent a over -a over b. So that means a must be -3 and b must be 1. So we know this part right now. Now we just got to get c. Well, we get c by, you guessed it, plugging in that 2, -3 up there. So if we plug that in, that'll get us c equal to be -9. So our answer is -3x plus y equals -9. Most textbooks, I don't know why, and I don't know what our textbook is like, so most textbooks likes this one to be positive. So again, it's called match the answer game. So I would take this if it was a test, but if it's a multiple choice test, you might see this answer. So all I did was change the sign to a positive, which means they have to change that and have to change that, and so that's what that is. They multiplied both sides by -1. Okay, here we have to get the slope. Do you see b right there? Okay, so we know b is that -2 right there, so y equals mx plus b, so let's get the slope, okay? There's other correct ways to do this, so the slope is 2/5, so y equals 2/5 x plus b, or since b is -2, it's -2. Okay, and then remember, standard form says no fractions or decimals, so we're going to have to get rid of this 2/5. We're going to have to get rid of the 5 by multiplying everything by 5, okay? So that'll get rid of that, and we get 5y equals 2x minus 10. And then standard form, again, you guys, is they want the x to come first and the y to come second, equals the number. So we'll leave this -10 over here, but we need to subtract 2x. And I'm going to subtract it way over here on this side over here, so it's out in front of the y right there. Okay, so either one of those answers is correct. You guys remember, if it starts off negative, some textbooks wants it to start off positive, so they change the sign, See how that's a plus 5y, so that's a minus 5y. That's a minus 10, so that's a plus 10. So they just went through and multiplied everything by -1, or both sides of the equation by -1. Okay, so this is the same problem we had in number 8, and we got it in point slope form, or slope-intercept form right there. So let's just convert that to standard form. Get rid of the fraction, so we'll multiply everything by 3, and then subtract 7x on both sides, and we get either one of those as the answer right there. Okay, alright, we're almost done. So here, the slope is undefined. Okay, when the slope is undefined, that's a vertical line, you guys. So when we have a vertical line, it is x equals a number. So just look at your x coordinate. X equals that -3 right there. Okay, so if they said the slope was 0, then that would be a horizontal line. And so if they said the slope was 0, then it would be y equals 5. So slope 0 is a horizontal line. Think of the horizon. You're looking on the horizon. It's a line that's flat. A vertical line is going up and down. So if it says undefined, it's vertical. So it's x equals. And if it says slope is 0, it's y equals. Okay, and if it goes through that point. Okay, so here's what we have as a mapping diagram right here. Okay, so this mapping diagram This is my x's and this is my y's, okay? So this is my domain and this is my range. So my domain is this number, this number, this number, this number. My range are these numbers right here, okay? So that's what that is. And is this relation a function, okay? Oh, I've never seen that before. Let's see. Oh, I have two. Is this relation a function? It is a function if all of these x's go to just one y, but since this negative 2 goes down here and goes over here, it's not a function. We can have x's going to the same y, like this 6 goes to 0 and negative 2 goes to 0. X's can go to the same y, but the same x can't go to the same y. For it to be a function. It's still a relation, it's just not a function. It's just a definition of a function. So anyways, you might see those kind of questions on there. In fact, you will. Alright, so here we have this equation to answer each. What's the x-intercept? Okay, the x-intercept is when y is 0. So we just plug in y equals 0 right here. So when y is 0, just disregard this negative 1/2 y because it's 0. So we're left with 8x equals 12. So the x-intercept, we just solve 8x equals 12, divide by 8, 12/8, reduce it to 4/3. So the x-intercept is 4/3. And as an ordered pair, it would be 4/3, comma 0. Okay, the y-intercept is when x equals 0. So when x equals 0, then we just put 0 in next to the 8. So this goes away, so we just make that go away, and we're left with negative 1/2 y equals 12. To get rid of the negative 1/2, we multiply both sides by 2. So when we do that, we get y equals 24. So if they asked for an ordered pair, it would be 0, comma 24. Okay, find the slope. Okay, so, well, it's easier if we just jump to the other problems and write them in standard form and then slope-intercept form, because once we do, the slope is staring right at us right there. So what I did was, I took this equation up there, and you're thinking, what's all that stuff right there? Okay, what I did is, to put it in standard form, remember, no fractions. So I'm just multiplying everything by 2. It's almost in standard form if that 2 wasn't there on the bottom. So times 2 times 2 times 2. That's all this says right here. And then that'll put it in standard form, okay? And our slope is right there staring at us right there. Okay, so the slope is opposite A over B. So we're negative 16 over negative 1, which is positive 16. Okay, or we can just convert this over here to slope-intercept form. So if we did that, and then the slope is staring at us right there. So what I did is I subtracted 16x on both sides. Then we'll divide everything by negative 1, change all the signs. So there's the slope right there. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, y equals mx plus b. Okay, so here's m, 16. So the slope is 16. Okay, we could have used the slope formula. If we know that this is at 4/3, comma 0, and this is at 0, negative 24, but I don't want to deal with the 4/3 part because it's a fraction inside a fraction, and it's just easier to put it in standard form, opposite A over B, or put it in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. The m is our slope right there, so the slope is 16. All right, couple of word problems to end this here. Darren spent $745.10 on 13 new file cabinets. Small file cabinets cost $43.50, and large file cabinets cost $65.95. Write and solve a system of equations to find the number of small and large cabinets Darren purchased. Okay, so we'll let X be the small guys and Y be the big cabinets, okay? So they said that there was 13 cabinets, so I'm going to go ahead and say X plus Y equals 13, and now let's put the money involved, okay? So there's one equation, so it says small cabinets are $43.50, so 43.5 times X, and then large is $65.95, so plus $65.95y equals $745. That's how much he spent, okay? All right, so we have a system of equations. Time to pick up a calculator. And I've done all the calculations for us, so we don't have to, but in class we'll probably do this. So we can make the x's both 43.5 and negative 43.5, or 65.95 and negative 65.95. I like smaller numbers, so I'm going to choose the 43.5. So I'm just going to multiply the top one by negative 43.5 Everything times negative 43.5 gets me that. So now I'll just slide the red equation over, and then they're ready to add together. The x's cancel out. And then we divide both sides by 22.45, and when we do that with our calculators, we get 8. Okay, so if there's 8, 8 stands for the y stands for the big cabinet. So remember, x plus y equals 13. So x is 5. So there's Darren bought 5 small cabinets and 8 large cabinets. Okay. All right, one more just like this, and we'll be all done. So a coffee shop purchased 60 pounds of Guatemalan coffee beans and 90 pounds of Nicaraguan coffee beans. The coffee purchase price was $180. The next week, the shop purchased 80 pounds of Guatemalan coffee and 20 pounds of Nicaraguan coffee, and the cost was $100. So write and solve a system of equations to solve the cost per pound for both. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is x equals the pounds for the Guatemalan and y is the pounds for the Nicaraguan. Okay. So they told us that that we had 60 pounds of the Guatemalan and 90 pounds of the Nicaraguan, and that totaled $180. So there's one equation. And the next one says we have 80 Guatemalans and 20 Nicaraguans, and that's 100. So now we can make these both, and just think of a common multiple of 60 and 80. I'm thinking 240. 6 and 8 is 24. They both go into 24. And then 90 and 20 is, well, 9 and 2 is 18. So I think I chose 180 for the 90 and 20. So we make one of them a negative 180 and one of them a positive 180, and I forgot which one I did. Okay, so I multiplied the top one by a positive 2 and the bottom one by a negative 9, and so when I did that, I got those equations. And then notice once we do that, then when we add them together, here's negative 180y, positive 180y. So we just got to add these guys. 120 minus 720 is negative 600. 360 minus 900 is negative 540. Okay, so we got to pick up a calculator and divide both sides by negative 600, and I get 0.90. Okay, so in terms of money, that's 90 cents a pound. All right, so we still got to figure out how much the Nicaraguan coffee is. So we'll plug in 0.9 for x, and I chose to plug it in right there. Looks like I forgot a little arrow right there. Somehow it got lost. Let's see. I'll just put it back in right there. Okay, so I plugged that in for that x right there. Okay. All right, so that's what that says. So 80 times 80 times that 0.9. So I know 8 times 9 is 72. So 80 times 9 is 720. But 80 times 0.9 is going to be 72. So this will be 72 right here. Plus 20y equals 100. And so we get that, and then subtract 72 and we get 28, and divide 28 divided by 20 gets us 1.4. So that means $1.40. So the Guatemalan beans are the 90 cents per pound, and the Nicaraguan beans are $1.40 per pound. All right, again, you guys, all these 4 worksheets, they're on MrMathBlog.com in our Integrated Math 1 link. All right, take care, you guys, and good luck on your final.